Sorry. Welcome to Michigan Golf Scene. I'm Roy J. Akers. We have a great show for you as we go out to Oakland Hills. We also go out to Michigan State, the Forest Akers Golf Course for the Division II Championships. We speak with Bernhard Langer and learn more about Odyssey putters. And finally, we speak with whom many people consider the greatest golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus.
14 clubs. That's what they tell us a legal golf bag can hold. And while that leaves a little room for balls and tees, it doesn't leave room for much else. There's no room left for deadlines or conference calls, not a single pocket to hold the stress of the day or the to-do list of tomorrow. Only 14 clubs. Pick out the right one and drive it right down the middle of pure Michigan. Your golf trip begins at michigan.org.
Starting off, we go to the Flint Golf Club where they have redesigned the 8th green with renowned golf course architect Mike DeVries, and we find out about turning back the time on this Willie Park design. One of the signature things that happened at the Flint Golf Club is they brought on legendary golf course architect Mike DeVries, who took an 8th green that kind of went downhill over the years as a combination of the World War II, non-play, a couple superintendents that didn't keep it up to snuff, and what they did is they brought this hole back, and now it is a true treasure to play.
Well, Mike's one of the most well-renowned golf architects in the world, and he's one of his best courses that he's done is Kingsley up near the Traverse City area, and we brought him down here. He came out here and he fell in love with the golf course. He walked the entire golf course last fall before he looked at it. He never set foot on the property, and he walked this course and said, "This is just a fantastic Willie Park Jr. design." And the green complexes, he said, is that we've got some of the best green complexes in the state and in the country.
Mike DeVries took a look at this golf hole and saw that it was nondescript, and he did something about it.
So this is Flint Golf Club's 8th hole, and it's a Willie Park Jr. original design. It's 100 years old this weekend, and we restored this green last fall. So there's 2 bunkers in the back that were just grass hollows and had been that way for a number of years. So we restored those bunkers, brought them back in, expanded the green perimeters out to the edges of where they were originally. So now we have a much bigger putting surface. We have some more short grass, makes it more playable for the average player, and it gives more options for all golfers of all levels.
DeVries took a look at the golf hole, added a few of his twists, and brought it back close to what Willie Park did back a century ago.
Well, nothing's exact, and we don't have the original plans. There was a fire back in the 50s at the club here, so they were probably lost in that. But the thing that's great here is that in the ground hasn't changed. Someone hasn't come in and bulldozed a section of the green or anything. So we're able to follow that and restore and resurrect what those original margins were just by doing that.
For Mike DeVries, he's a hands-on golf architect. He doesn't put his work on other people. Instead, he gets out, he moves dirt himself, everything from the final touches, the small little things in between, and turns it into a finished product that people truly enjoy.
Watching Mike do the work, he was on a bulldozer in those bunkers, sculpting them, shaping them. So he's definitely hands-on. He gets his hands dirty, and it's the type of architect you want putting together the restoration of this golf course. And he's such a historian of the game of golf and Willie Park Jr., so we're very lucky and honored to have him here doing our golf course.
What takes a course from the original design to today? Is it just even one groundskeeper misdoing things over time, or is there natural evolution? What happens when it goes off the mark over the
Combination of all those factors. So a big factor for an old club like this that's 80 or 100 years old is you have the Depression and World War II. You have 15 years where there's no money, there's a lack of maintenance, maybe no maintenance, depending on, during the war, sometimes some courses were just shuttered, and then they were brought back post World War II, and so could be a completely different staff, not knowing where the margins were, where the grass margins were, things like that, and then sometimes it's also planting of trees, renovation, adding features or things that people thought were done maybe in the correct manner, but maybe sometimes done with good intentions but not necessarily in the right spot. So we try and fix those types of things.
Scott Brodebeck said bringing back this 8th hole has made all the difference in the membership and their attitude about playing this hole.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's got some character. It's got so many more shots, putts, and I really enjoy playing it. He did a great job.
Yeah, it's got a lot more character. The back bunkers are completely changed the hole. And we played with the wooden shafted clubs today, and I'm going to play a wooden shafted club from now on that hole.
For Michigan Golf Scene, this is Roy J. Akers reporting. We caught up with Bernhard Langer at Warwick Hills, and he tells us what keeps him going for more PGA Legends Championships when he has accomplished so much in the game of golf. Langer, Bernhard, you know, at 61 years old, a lot of guys fire burns out, but yours seems to burn brighter.
Yeah, I just enjoy the competition. I enjoy the game of golf and being out here with friends of mine that I've known for many years.
Now, a lot of the guys, this is like the world's greatest mulligan out here. A lot of guys are getting downsized. Instead, you guys are just getting into gear, and your tour's really taken off since you turned 50 not too long ago.
That's true, but the game of golf is unique in a sense where you can still play it at an extremely high level even though you get a little older. Many other sports, it's all about the physical stuff. You got to be fast, you got to be strong. You lose a little bit of that, but you can still play great golf because you have good technique or good mental outlook and all that, and play at a very high level.
2 real quick questions. So first off, Warwick Hills, everybody just is exuberant about the greens out here. Watching you putt, I bet you're really looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, the greens are phenomenal. I played yesterday in a practice round, and the whole golf course looks really good. It's a little wet from the rain we've had here the last couple of weeks, but that will dry out with this beautiful sunshine we've been getting, and we'll get firmer and firmer as the week goes on. And
finally, final question, what keeps you going? I mean, you're still winning, you're still making money. What is it more than that?
Well, like I said a minute ago, I love the game of golf. I love to compete, and I enjoy being out here and working on my game and be with like-minded people. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
On the flip side, we will learn about the step meter and how it really affects your golf game. And also, we talk about Odyssey golf putters with Brian Mimbley. And also, we have high school golf and a whole lot more. And finally, we speak with the Golden Bear. Brian Mimbley is the rep for Odyssey Putters. We find out more about the putter line that so many golfers trust for their golf game. With me, Brian Mimbley from Callaway, and also you represent Odyssey Putters. And I will tell you, I'm going to suck up to you. I do have an Odyssey putter, and I'm an all-field guy. I'm one of those guys, I go up here and I'll check out putters all up and down the line, and I'll go with the one, not that I make the most putts off of, but the ones I have the best feel. Is that the best strategy?
It certainly is a big part of it. Feel is something that we sense with sound, we sense with any sort of activity between putter face and ball. And when we can get something that we have a sense that feels good, we know that that's a big part of it taking to the next level. Now, obviously, there's things in terms of design, in terms of resistance to twisting. We want something that's forgiving, something that's easy to align. Those are all key factors. But much like everything else, I can put everything that I know works best for you, but if you don't like the sound and the feel of that putter, there's a good chance you're going to dismiss it. So it definitely has to be part of the criteria.
And it's funny, I think I talked to Corey Pavin last fall, and he's been playing the same putter since the 90s, and he's
a bullseye guy. Yep.
He's a bullseye guy, but for every golfer like him, or actually he's the exception to the rule. Most people are they're dismissing their putters, where he's kept the same one. Most people do change. When they have an Odyssey putter, chances are a golfer's going to stick with it a while.
we have developed a tremendous loyalty amongst our players, and once they find a head design, they will often stick with that. Our insert technology, which is leading the putter category, that's that feel that you speak to. And if that's what creates that feel, that sound, that vibration, that reaction that you get, that's pretty exclusive to Odyssey. So it might be one of those deals where, again, if feel's the most important thing to you, that could be something that you only find within an Odyssey, which gives me a great chance to not only keep you in the family, but if you decide to shelve your existing putter, maybe there's a good chance I can get you into one of our new ones.
I'm going to get my little Odyssey putter's little brother or big brother type thing. Let's take a look. I'm not saying I'm going to hit this putter today, and I know that you have a couple putters you want to show us. I love the look of this putter, but I can just tell you by feel, I either better feel it or I don't. And so I love the look of this type of putter. I know this probably wasn't what you were going to talk about initially, but well, there you go. You had one in your hand. Ta-da.
So a couple of things that we do here is what you are used to is Odyssey was the first true inserted putter. This is a version of that original White Hot putter, which is that White Hot insert, which is effectively was the cover material of our golf ball. So you got that good sound, that good resonant click, but a good sense of feel. The beauty of an insert is it takes a lot of weight out of the face and puts it in the back of the golf club. The newest generation that we're doing with inserts here has what we call micro hinge. So there's a series of hooked levers in the face of the putter that allows you to have the feel from the outside, but it creates an immediate end over end roll. So there's less skid. So if you've rolled a putt on a dew covered green, you see that there's hops before the ball actually starts to roll. The quicker we can get a ball to roll on a green, the truer the putt will be. This is something that's exclusive to Odyssey. So again, you're going to have that feel that you're looking for, but we're going to give you the performance of an enhanced roll, and you will find this micro hinge insert on the new EXO models as well as the new Stroke Lab models. So again, the heart of what Odyssey is in there with advanced engineering that creates the best possible roll.
What for 2019 Odyssey has a cutting edge putter? Is it the putter you just described, or is there another one? This man here has a endless supply of putters.
So the EXO is the highest MOI, the greatest resistance to twisting that we have in our line is that EXO model. This is Stroke Lab. This is taking into account that same insert, that same micro hinge with a little bit more of a traditional design. So again, you see this Model 7, which is quite popular on tour. Our head designs are widely used on tour. We do not have one single model that dominates. As you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different shapes and sizes that give us the ability to accommodate all players. We were the most used putter at the Masters. Not one single model, but the entire brand. So what makes this year's family of putters truly unique is the shaft. And when's the last time someone talked to you about the shaft in a putter besides how long it was?
That much is true, and I know that's definitely a conversation on different tours. We're not going to go to that today. Let's talk shaft, Brian.
What's interesting is the traditional putter shaft has not changed very much in years and years and years within the sport. It's generally slightly on the heavier side. It's relatively stiff. You'll see some that don't have any steps in them. Like we were talking earlier, Corey Pavin. The old shafts that were using bullseyes had a little bit of a flute mark down there. This has been pretty much the industry standard. What changes now with Stroke Lab is the incorporation of multiple materials. So as I incorporate graphite into it and then bond it down to steel, a couple of real important things happen. This is 40 grams lighter than the equivalent steel shaft. So what do we do with that extra weight? We make the head heavier so you can feel it. We put a counterbalance weight in and under the shaft, so we reposition 40 grams of weight. One quiets your hands, the other one allows for more head feel. The stiffness of the shaft is significantly greater, so there's less wobble. So the opportunity for something by incorporating a shaft change that actually enhances your putting stroke is something that hasn't been done in this category of product before. It's pretty exclusive to us, and if you watch the Masters quite closely, Francesco Molinari, Xander Schauffele are using Stroke Lab in their putters, so it works for players at the highest level of the game all the way to us mere humans who are just looking for an ability to make more putts.
Well, thank you very much, Brian, for explaining a little bit more about what makes Odyssey putter a putter to check out when you come to various retailer. You can find these putters at just about anywhere, but right now we are at
Carl's Golfland with a selection of putters second to none.
Poor weather is affecting most boys high school golfers this spring, but I speak with both coaches and parents at MSU during the Division II finals. What would happen to MHSAA boys golfers if they split the season into fall and spring seasons? Both coaches and parents have opinions.
Is it possible they could change the high school season from a fall and spring contest instead of try to cram it all into a couple of crappy months of weather? Let's find out.
I think it'd probably work good for the golfers. I think they'd enjoy it. It would definitely make for better play, probably. I think the idea of being able to split the season up maybe takes it a little easier on their schedule as well. The spring schedule is so tough for especially the boys now with this format. If you could put more matches into the spring or into the fall and not into the spring, it would probably make school a little bit easier for them.
I think it would be extremely beneficial. I know that we get a lot of inclement weather in the early spring. So yeah, I do think it would be beneficial if we did split that up. We're at the state finals today. It's been the first sunny day that we've had the opportunity to play golf. So I think it'd provide the kids with a good opportunity to continue on.
Now, it's not just coaches that have an opinion. Parents have opinions as well.
I do, because of the early start. If they had a divided season the way college does, I think the kids would have much better opportunities to post scores, which leads to opportunities to play at a higher level because they're competing against warm weather schools, and they are at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to the weather conditions.
This difference is so profound between the play in the fall and the spring that the weather grossly affects what's going on when the boys are out playing in March and early April when it's sleeting, snowing, and just downright cold.
I would. The scores in the spring are much higher because of the weather conditions. Typically the kids are playing in either sleet, snow, rain, 40-degree weather, 45-degree weather. It's not real golf. They struggle to get through the weather, and it doesn't bring out their best skills.
The snow would be the worst. This year was a particularly difficult one. I don't think we saw anything above 50 degrees until late April, early May. So you get good at playing with every piece of clothing you own on your body.
As you can see, there's a lot of reasons to have the boys and girls high school seasons in both the fall and the spring. Also, the quality of play is a factor.
2 or 3? Sure, absolutely. Kids on my team compete all summer in the top 50, the AJGA. I think if we did a continuation with that split season, I think it'd be great for the kids because they could continuously play.
I heard.
For Michigan Golf Scene, this is Roy J. Akers reporting.
That's a nice hit right there.
This is for every girl who's ever been laughed at or told she doesn't belong.
This is for every girl who's been told she's too loud, too quiet, too this or too that.
This is for every girl who thinks her body isn't good enough.
This is for every girl who feels she doesn't fit in.
This is for every girl who's been told that success and kindness are two different things.
This is for every girl who's been told to give up.
This is us crushing it for you, so you can crush it for the next girl.
My name is David Owen. I'm a writer, but I spend most of my time thinking about golf, either playing it or watching it on TV. TV commentators are always talking about how fast the greens are on the courses that the tour players play.
We heard this morning that the greens are running at almost 14 on the stimp meter.
That's ridiculous. And recently, I got to wondering exactly how fast are the greens on the course where I play most of my golf. If you watch any golf on TV, you hear commentators and tour players talking about stimp meters. So, what is a stimp meter? In 1935, Edward Stimpson invented an easy way to measure green speed, the stimp meter. I'd never actually seen one, though, until I borrowed this one from my superintendent. It's a 3-foot-long extruded aluminum bar with a little trough that runs down the center. There's a notch up here. You place a golf ball in it, set this end on the putting surface, then you slowly lift this end until gravity makes the ball fall out of the notch, and then you measure how far it rolls across the green. You do that 3 times, and you measure the average distance that the ball rolls. Then you turn around and do it 3 times in the other direction, and you measure the average distance that the ball rolls that way, and then you combine the 2 numbers and divide them by 2, and that's the putting speed of the green. But like most golfers, I don't do most of my practicing on a golf course, so I want to take this stimp meter and measure some of the surfaces where I really do most of my putting. This is my house. It was built in about 1790, and one of the great things about it is that it contains no level surfaces. The floor of my living room not only slopes from end to end, but also sags on the diagonal. This rug belonged to my grandparents. I played on it a lot when I was a little kid, so I know where all the breaks are. The first thing you see when you come into my house is this hallway. It's a good place to putt because it's got lots of break. This is the dining room. We got rid of the dining room table because we never eat in here, and we replaced it with a pool table, and now we never play pool in here. We used to have 2 dachshunds, and to them, the legs of the pool table look like fire hydrants. The kitchen is a good place to practice putting because it's close to the fridge. The porch is a little more realistic because it's almost outside, like a real golf course. And that got me to thinking, there are a lot of other potential putting surfaces in the world. Why not test those? The first place I tried was right outside my door in my front yard. I've taken thousands of divots out here, but sad to say, it's not a very good surface for putting. There's a big school next door, and it has an artificial turf field. From a distance, it looks so smooth that you'd think it would be great to putt on, but it's not actually all that much better than my yard. The school has tennis courts too. They putt great, but they're crowded. So I found a place that wasn't crowded at all, this big, empty parking lot. It's easy to measure because the spaces are exactly 9 feet wide, but it's just not a very good putting surface. Luckily though, there's a bowling alley right next to this parking lot. My golf buddies and I used to go bowling during the winter when our course was closed, but we never actually tried playing golf there. The lanes are too fast, but the carpet is great. And that got me to thinking that maybe I should go carpet shopping. A carpet store is an amazing place. All these potential putting surfaces just hanging from the wall. I tried out dozens of different kinds. Even a carpet that's really good for putting has to be maintained properly. Then, in a line of rolled up samples against the wall, I found the perfect putting surface. I don't love the pattern, but the speed is great. Thanks to Edward Stimpson and my stimp meter, I have found the perfect carpet. This would look good in my yard, too, and I wouldn't have to mow it.
Finally, when we return, we go out to the GAM for the 100th anniversary celebration of the organization, and they bring in the Golden Bear to raise money for junior golf. We will have the exclusive interview with Jack Nicklaus when we return.
Couple real quick things. First off, I first saw you last year when you were out at Benton Harbor at that golf course, and your wife was announced as the first lady of golf. You had a big thing for your foundation. Is it really now about a legacy and trying to pass the game on to the next generation or generations?
Well, we're in a position to be able to do that, and he had to be getting that position first. Golf has allowed that to happen, and so we feel like. I don't care about my legacy as far as my credit. I like to see what happens with the kids and so forth that we're doing. My wife has been fantastic. She's a real trooper on this thing, and I support her and try to raise money for kids, for hospitals, and for health care, and move on.
And, taking a look at some of the future, it looks like the game is in phenomenal shape. It never starts and stops with any player. It just keeps going on generation to generation. You feel like the game of golf's in a good place?
Tournament golf's in a very good place. I think it's doing very well. I think we need to really work on the regular game. I think the game is too expensive. It takes too long, and it's too hard. Those are the three things I think we need to work on. The average person doesn't want to take 5 hours to play a round of golf. They don't want to spend a fortune to play it, and they don't want to get beat up. So, those are the things we got to work on, and if we continue to work on those things and keep that in front of us, I think the USGA and the R&A and the PGA Tour and the PGA of America, they all understand that. They all agree with it. They just how to get to it is a hard thing to do.
Thanks, Jack. Thank you very much for coming out.
That is it for this edition of Michigan Golf Scene. To get updates on golfing in Michigan from resorts, professional amateur tournaments, aerial views, equipment, stories on what is happening on golf in the state, please go to www.midwestsportscene.com and then go to the Michigan Golf Scene page. Until next time, this is Roy J. Akers reporting.